So welcome to what is going to be a new channel. I do believe there might be a few growing pains as I do start to acclimate to me talking about a completely different sport, because I'm going to start talking about NBA on my Artem NBA channel. I'm going to rebrand. I've got someone that's going to be making my thumbnails for me. I'm going to be obviously using this new webcam that I've purchased. So we're all in, and hopefully I do believe that we can see a little bit of translation of the effort putting into this channel to my MMA channel in the future as well. I just wanted to try and get this channel off the ground a little bit. So if you do have any interest in what a New Zealander who watches the NBA, who decided to be a Portland Trail Blazers fan's opinion is on NBA and how things go, definitely this could be a pretty fun landing zone. But this video, of course, is about the Summer League, and not even the Las Vegas Summer League. I'm talking about the California and Salt Lake City Summer League before the Vegas Summer League tournament even begins. And I wanted to talk about this because I actually had a little bit of an interesting thought, and I think a lot of people would strongly disagree with me about this, because obviously Summer League is Summer League. You're not supposed to overreact to Summer League. You know, we've seen people go crazy in Summer League in the past and then not really translate to NBA. We've seen people have very bad Summer League performances and then really sort to show out in the NBA. But I did want to talk about a couple of very big standout performers that I think could make things a little bit interesting, because we still have not seen AJ Dybantsa, the #1 pick, of course, picked over Darryn Peterson, even picked over Cameron Boozer, who some people think could have gone 1 or 2. A lot of people think Peterson could have potentially gone #1 as well. So I'm very curious to see how he is going to manage to go in the Summer League after we have really seen the stars of Summer League, I guess you could say, already start to show out, and that does include Darius Acuff Jr, who I think has also had a lot of success for the Kings so far. Just been a little bit inefficient, but been so fun to watch. So let's talk about Darryn Peterson. Darryn Peterson, of course, was someone that I was a little bit concerned about coming into the NBA, given the injury history, the injury concerns. Now, of course, he did talk about how that could be affected by creatine. But at the end of the day, when you do watch Darryn Peterson play for college, he was getting out of games. He was putting himself out of games in the second half. And I do believe that that injury concern is one of the primary reasons why he was not picked #1 over AJ Dybantsa. But in the Summer League so far, he's really showing out. He's averaging nearly 28 minutes per game in the 2 games he's played, 26.5 points per game. Also, a lot of assists too. And this is something that was discussed quite a bit, I would say, by a lot of people, because I don't think Peterson ever recorded more than 4 assists in his college career. And we have Peterson getting 12 assists in his game just yesterday at the time of me recording this video, and also averaging 7 assists throughout the tournament so far. So Peterson is having a great tournament, and when you watch his highlights, he's hitting some pretty nasty threes. The 3-point percentage has been 44%, which is unbelievable. The field goal percentage has been nearly 53%. This guy has been super fun on offense. He has a little bit of defensive upside as well himself, but the way that this guy is able to shoot the ball from 2 and 3 and also pass it to his teammate Cody Williams, who is having himself a Summer League as well, averaging 17.5 points, and that really does come off Darryn Peterson setting up Williams in open opportunities in the 3. You know, he's averaging, what, 3 points, 3 3-pointers a game. He's making 50% of them, and when you do watch the highlights, when Peterson is dishing it out to Cody Williams, a lot of those shots are coming from Peterson, creating moments for him. And then on the other hand, you've got, of course, the Memphis Grizzlies duo, and I will talk about the Grizzlies in another video, because the Memphis Grizzlies are a team that I'm actually quite excited to watch. These are a very young team now. You know, they do have Jeremy Grant, but they've really started to go into this youth movement. They don't really have that many veterans on the squad. Typically, we do see a good mix of vets with rooks and young players, but the Grizzlies really are just a young team all over. We haven't seen Kareem Lopez play yet, which is something I'm excited to see, because Kareem Lopez, of course, is someone that has played multiple years professionally. He played for the New Zealand Breakers, so I'm excited to see how he's going to go. But Cedric Coward and Cameron Boozer are having themselves a game. You know, Peterson was scoring Peterson was scoring over Coward in their game quite a lot, but even then, you know, we've seen Cedric Coward put up a crazy amount of volume. You know, he's averaging, what, 3 points attempted a game, but really the story of the show has been Cameron Boozer. Cameron Boozer, I would say, has been a very, very effective player so far. He's been very high efficiency. He's been passing the ball. A lot of the times as well, he's been passing the ball and his teammates have been missing. So in a way, you could argue he's trying to be a little bit too much of a team player. But that is what the player that Cameron Boozer is. He's a big guy, but he's going to set up his teammates. He's going to get rebounds. He's going to get assists. And I think that he's going to be able to put up some very impressive stat lines throughout throughout his NBA rookie career. And I do think that he is someone to mention. Another one is, of course, is Zubi Ejiofor. Zubi Ejiofor is someone that could be very, very fun. And he is averaging 13 rebounds across 2 games. Kingston Flevins, the Hawks draftee at number 8. Also, someone that's going to have the keys to the kingdom of the Atlanta Hawks at the moment. And I do think that despite the low free throw percentage, I think he's also showing some pretty good upside. Daymara is someone, of course, that was drafted by the OKC Thunder. Someone that a lot of people, including myself, thought, oh, well, they've found someone now that is going to be able to take over when Chet is off the floor, because Daymara is 7'3", 7'4" himself, ridiculous wingspan, 9'9" standing reach, and I do think that Daymara, is someone that could maybe play alongside Chet, as Chet does like to play the 4, but Mara definitely is more of a center, but he hasn't had a lot of success so far in the Summer League, but I do think that just comes with the growing pains, and even then, he was a big-time draft riser going into the draft too. And I do just think that's kind of all I wanted to talk about out of the guys out of Salt Lake City. Now let's talk about the California Classic. Darius Acuff Jr. I cannot wait to watch Darius Acuff Jr. play for the Sacramento Kings. I made a video about him before, but I just think this guy is so fun to watch. He just creates so much opportunity for himself, even for his teammates. He isn't necessarily averaging a great amount of assists, but he still is passing the ball. But he's also getting very selfish when he needs to be. Yes, the field goal percentage has been quite poor, I will be honest. I think he went 9 for 27 in about 25 minutes of play in his first game, and then in the second game, once again, so many field goal attempts. He's averaging 24 field goal attempts. He's only making 33.3% of them. But to be fair, though, for Darius Acuff Jr., when he makes these shots, they look good. They're very good, very highlighty plays off the 2 points, off the 2 ball. And then also he does shoot threes on occasion too, but the 3-point percentage has, of course, only been 27%. The thing about Acuff Jr., though, is when you watch him play, he's just so fun. He's so athletic. He's just an offensive master. Now, he's not very big, so defensively he's not crazy, but he has been getting a couple steals. He's averaging 1 steal a game across the 2. I do believe he actually got both steals in 1 game. But yeah, he's been pretty effective on the defense, and I do think that I look back to my Trailblazers Blake Wesley, and Blake Wesley's not really the best player in the world, obviously, but I actually really liked watching Blake Wesley play for my Portland Trailblazers, because he was a hustler. It's like when Mac McClung had a very short run, I want to say, for the Indiana Pacers. Although he only played a few games, you could watch him hustle against Bronny James, holding up Bronny James and the Lakers, and stealing him and stripping him. It was just an example of someone that's going to hustle. And although Acuff Jr., he's going to be obviously expending a lot of energy on offense, I'm glad that I can see a little bit of hustle out of him, of course, going on the defensive end. Yogo Dioman, of course, playing for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, he has not also had a great 3-point percentage, even though the 3 ball was really what was sort of keeping him going towards the end of his rookie season. And I do believe that he is going to develop more as a 3-point shooter, more than an on-ball playmaker, which is not necessarily what he was described as in the draft. But I do think that Dioman is someone to more look for a 3-point shooter. He's averaging 7.5 3-points assists over the 2 games. Cam Carr from the Lakers, of course, I believe was he drafted at 24? That the Lakers traded to 24, and Carr was picked by the Knicks, but the Lakers traded in for him. I know a lot of Knicks fans really wanted Cameron Carr. I know a lot of Bulls fans even wanted Cameron Carr to get selected with their pick at 15. That was obviously transferred to them by the Blazers, but they took Dalen Swain instead. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Cameron Carr has done a lot, of course, for the Lakers so far. He's played in all 3 of the Lakers games. He's also played 23 minutes a game And he's been an offensive machine, and also on defense, he has been a little bit effective as well. And not even really averaging many turnovers. That's something you can say about guys like Acuff. Even guys like Peterson and Williams. These guys are getting a lot of turnovers. Obviously, Cam Carr is handling the ball very, very effectively, and I do think that we could see what Cam Carr is sort of supposed to be, maybe playing for the Lakers. The problem is JJ Redick doesn't necessarily seem to play rookies all too much. You know, Dalton Connect had a lot of flashes, but he lost his confidence after that Hornets trade that didn't go through, and we haven't really seen him on the floor that much. And I do think that maybe Cam Carr could sort of slot in beside, of course, Bronny James, and they could do pretty fun playmakers together on the Lakers bench unit towards the end. But yeah, Cam Carr at 24, that was a great pick by the Lakers. I don't even think they needed to give up to get in there. Knicks obviously just spent the whole draft trying to save money by trading down, avoiding picking anyone, which is funny. They did that in the second round too. But yeah, very interested in Cam Carr and his career. Of course, now playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, not necessarily the best landing spot for him. Yaxel Lendeborg was the story of the day one. You know, on his first game, he had 100% efficiency, had multiple threes. The second game, he was not as effective, but I do still think that Yaxel, despite being a very old prospect, I think he's 24, maybe 25 years old as a rookie, I think that he could be someone that has landed at the right location in the Golden State Warriors. You know, the Warriors need someone like Lendeborg, a big guy that can kind of hang out with the old fellas there now. If Draymond is going to come back, you got Steph Curry. Even they just re-signed. Oh my goodness, his name has slipped my mind, but their big center who's always ill and always injured on a massive deal. So Lendeborg's going to probably play a lot of minutes because Dingus Pingus is not going to be healthy likely. And another sort of random person I wanted to mention was Cam Jones. He played one game, and I thought that he had a good game, 50% from the field, and he scored 14 points in his only game for the Bucks. You know, he signed with the Bucks on a two-way. He was traded from the Pacers to the Bulls, and then the Bulls waived him, and then Cam Jones picked him up, so that's pretty fun. That's kind of all I really wanted to talk about here, but I just want to say that there probably is going to be a little bit of pressure on AJ Dybantsa as he does come into his first Summer League games. Just kind of prove to everyone that he is going to be the true number one pick over guys like Peterson and Boozer, who have really showed up and shown out. And even then, you could probably maybe extend a little bit of that pressure to Caleb Wilson and maybe Keaton Wagler, because of course Caleb Wilson was also discussed as one of the best prospects in the draft alongside Boozer, Peterson, and Dybantsa himself. So let me know what you think about that in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.